Okay, this video is from the algebra review portion of geometry, and it's going to cover factoring completely. So if you do remember in algebra, we cover factoring for a long time. This is going to kind of wrap up all the different types of factoring. So to factor completely, it usually means, but doesn't always, that there may be more than one time that you have to factor within an expression. So you might have to factor it once and then check to see if it's factorable again and keep going. Sometimes it's just once, but there are times in which it's more than once. So some tips for how to factor when you're starting is the very first thing you always want to look at is, can I factor something out? So when you're looking at the greatest common factor, we're looking for something that we can take out, whether it's a value like all the terms are divisible by 2, or all the terms are divisible by 5, or it's a variable, they all have an x on them, they all have an x squared, something like that. Those are your common factors and you're going to take those out. That's the very first thing you want to do. Then if there are two terms, we're going to look for something called the difference of two squares. And the difference of two squares is exactly what it sounds like. Difference meaning there's a minus between the two terms. Two squares meaning two perfect squares. So an example of this is like x squared minus 25. So these are both perfect squares. There's a minus between. And when we factor those, we would set up two sets of parentheses. And the first place in each set of parentheses, we square root that first term. So the square root of x squared would be x. And then we square root the second term, square root of 25 would be 5. And then one of these parentheses gets a plus and one gets a minus. Order doesn't matter there. But what happens when we FOIL this back out, because we would have a positive 5x and a negative 5x, they would cancel out, and that's why there's only two terms. All right, the next one is if there's three terms, we're looking for a perfect squared trinomial. So perfect squared trinomial is three terms in which the square root of the last term doubled. So we square root that last term, we multiply it by 2, and that gives you the middle term. So we're going to ignore the sign when we do the test, but I would say 25 square rooted is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, and that's the middle term. So this is a perfect square trinomial, meaning that when I square root the first term, so square root that x and I get x squared and I get x in the first spot, the last term is going to be the square root of the last term, which is 5. But now the signs are not the same because it would cancel it out. The signs will match the term in the middle, which would be a minus. And then I can rewrite that as x minus 5 squared. So we square root the first term, we square root the last term, we put them in the parentheses, we take the sign from the middle, and we put it in the parentheses and square it. So that's a perfect square trinomial. Next up is the factoring a trinomial of any form. So there's two different types here. One in which the a, or the number on the front of the x squared, is just a 1, and one when it's not. So we're going to start when it's just a 1, because these are a little bit easier. So that would be like an x squared minus 2x minus 3. So trinomial meaning three terms, only nothing visible on front of the x squared, which means there's a 1 there. For these, we're looking for the factors of a negative 3. So two numbers that multiply together to give you negative 3 that add up to negative 2. So when it's a number like negative 3, not so hard because it's a prime number. There's not that many combinations. Obviously, when we get something like a 24, there's more combinations. So I know the factors of negative 3 would be 1 and negative 3 and negative 1 and 3. And then I want to see which one, when added together, gives me the middle term, which is negative 2. So 1 and negative 3 gives me negative 2. This would give me a positive 2, which is not what I want. So I know that these two numbers, positive 1 and negative 3, are what I'm going to put behind the x. And again, order doesn't matter there as long as the positive sign is with the 1 and the negative sign is with the 3. These are easy to check because if we FOIL it back out, so first would be x squared. Outer would be negative 3x, inner positive 1x, and last would be negative 3. Combine these like terms, and I get x squared minus 2x minus 3, which is the question. So all of these can be checked by FOILing them back out. Okay, the one that's a little bit more complicated is what happens if there's a number on the front. So let's say this said 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. There's a lot of different ways to do this. One is literally trial and error. Do your factors of 2x squared here. Do your factors of negative 3 here. multiply the outside and the inside and add them until you get that middle term. That's one way, which when the numbers are prime, not so bad. But when they're bigger or have more factors, that gets to be a nightmare. So the second way we do this is, I call it first and last, but people call it A times C. It's the same thing. We're going to multiply the A times C, so the first times last, which is 2 times -3, and that's -6. And then we're going to look for the factors of -6 that add to my middle term, which is -5. So I could go 1 and -6, -1 and 6, 2 and -3, -2 and 3. And look for the one that adds up to -5, which is 1 and -6. Now, instead of just doing it x plus 1 and x minus 6, I have to account for the numbers at the front. So we're not done yet. I keep the 2x where it is, 2x squared, and then I'm going to replace -5x with these two terms. So positive 1x, I don't need the 1, but you'll see in a second why it's there, minus 6x minus 3. And then there's 4 terms, which is actually our last type of factoring on this slide, but we'll review how to do it. When you have 4 terms, you factor by grouping. So we're going to group together the first 2 terms, and we're going to group together the last 2 terms. Now, if there's a minus here, we're going to make sure we keep it with that 6 because that minus is only on the 6. Then from each set of parentheses, we're going to look for our greatest common factor. So what can I take out of both of the terms on the first set of parentheses? And the answer there is an x. So dividing by x here and here leaves me with 2x plus 1. From the second set of parentheses, I want to change these signs because I want them to match, which means I'm going to take out a negative number. And I want it to be 2x plus 1, which is good because I can take a 3 out of both of these. Both these numbers are divisible by 3. So I'm going to divide by -3. And in doing so, what's left in my parentheses is a positive 2x and a positive 1 because -3 divided by 3, -3 is 1. Now, if we've done this correctly, what's inside the parentheses should be the same, and it is. So that becomes our greatest common factor. We take that out again. So by taking it out, we've eliminated it here and here, and we group together the 2 terms that are left, which would be x minus 3. All right, we're going to do that one more time. So if there's a variable on the front, let's say it says 5x squared this time, minus 27x plus 10. Okay. So 3 terms, trinomial, first term is not a 1. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 10, first times last, I get 50. And then I'm going to look for the factors of 50 that sum to my middle term. Now notice that middle term's negative, which means in order to get a product that's positive, they have to have the same sign. But I need the sum to be a negative, which means both these terms are going to be negative. So I could do -1 and -50. That gives me -51. That doesn't work. I could do -2 and -25. That time I get -27. So then I'm going to replace my middle term with minus 2x minus 25x, and then I keep my positive 10. And then we're going to factor by grouping. So from the first set of parentheses, I can take out an x. And what's left, so I've divided this by x and this by x. What's left is 5x minus 2. From the second set of parentheses, I can take out, now notice I want to change my sign, so I need to take out a negative something, and they're both divisible by 5. So I'm going to take out a -5, and I get 5x minus 2. What's inside the parentheses matches, which means we did it correctly, and I take that out. 5x minus 2 is now gone, and what's left is x minus 5. All right, so that last step is basically the polynomial with 4 terms, which is factoring by grouping. All right, now let's do some practice problems. All right, example, let's call this 1. I know these aren't numbered. 3 terms, not a perfect square at the end, but the first term is a 1. So now we're just looking for the factors of positive 6. So we're going to square root the x squared. Factors of positive 6 that sum to -5. So they have to both be the same sign, and we want it to match that sign. So -1, -6 doesn't work. -2, -3, those are the 2 terms that when multiplied together give you 6, but add up to -5. All right, example 2, we're going to do first times last because there's a number on the front. So first times last, 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. Factors of negative 30 that sum to a positive 1. So first of all, factors of a negative number mean one's positive, one's negative. The bigger one we want to be positive. So I can do negative 1 and positive 30, doesn't work. Negative 2, positive 15, doesn't work. Negative 3, positive 10, doesn't work. Negative 5, positive 6, and that's the one that adds up to 1. So 2x squared minus 5x plus 6x minus 15, and then we factor by grouping. First set of parentheses, I can take out an x. Second set of parentheses, I want my signs to stay the same, so I'm going to take out a positive number here. I can divide by 3, 2x minus 5. And then the 2x minus 5 comes out because that's our greatest common factor, and x plus 3 gets grouped together. Okay, here's some additional practice. So if we were numbering these would be 3 and 4. Okay, 3 terms again. This time when I look at number 3, these are all divisible by 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is factor out that greatest common factor. So divide this by 2, this by 2, and this by 2. And I get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, there's 2 ways I can approach this. Look at the factors of 9 that sum to 6. Or if you catch it, 9 is a perfect square. When I square root it, I get 3, and when I double it, I get 6, which means it's also a perfect square trinomial. So I can square root the first term, square root the last term, take the sign from the middle, put it in parentheses, and square it. If you didn't catch it, you would have gotten x, an x, plus 3, plus 3. So you would have gotten there eventually. This becomes this. All right, number 4, we're back to not being able to factor anything out and there being a number on the front. So we do first times last. So negative 3 times 10 is negative 30. Factors of negative 30 that sum to a positive 1. So I need them different signs, bigger one to be positive. So I can do negative 1 and 30. I can do negative 2 and 15, negative 3 and 10, negative 5 and 6. And that's the one that gives me a positive 1. Replace my middle term with those 2. So minus 5x plus 6x plus 10. And factor by grouping. From the first one, I can take out an x. I can actually take out a negative x if I want to, or a positive x. So I'm going to take out a positive x so we see what happens. This becomes negative 3x minus 5. Now the signs inside are opposite, and they're also divisible by 2. So I'm going to take out a negative 2, and I get negative 3x minus 5. This is now my greatest common factor, negative 3x minus 5, and group together x minus 2. Now let's say from here, I had taken out a negative x. So it would have been a negative x. It would have been 3x plus 5 plus, and I would have taken out a 2, 3x plus 5. And I would have gotten 3x plus 5 and negative x plus 2. So while these aren't exactly, they don't look exactly the same, they do still have, they are equivalent expressions, which either of those would have been fine answers. Okay, moving into, so now we're on 5 and 6. These have just 2 terms in them, so I know it's not a trinomial. When I look at 5, the first thing I notice is that these are both divisible by 3. So I'm going to take out a 3, and 3x squared divided by 3 is x squared, and negative 48 divided by 3 is 16. And then this is the difference 2 squares. Difference being the minus in between, both perfect squares. So I'm going to do 2 parentheses, square root the first term, square root the second term, and one gets a plus and one gets a minus. And now we've factored completely. For number 6, similar to it, I can take out a 4, x squared minus 36. Difference of 2 squares again. Factor and factor. One gets a plus and one gets a minus. Okay, moving into number 7. Again, these are divisible by 3, so I want to check for that first. Take out the 3, x squared plus 7x plus 6. And now this is nothing special. This is just your trinomial with a 1 in front of the x squared. So we're looking for the factors of positive 6 that sum to positive 7, which are positive 1 and positive 6. So I get 3 on the front, and then x and x for the x squared, positive 1, positive 6. Number 8, these are all divisible by 5. Take out a 5, and I get 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Now I've got a trinomial. First number is not a 1 this time, so I'm going to do first times last. 2 times 3 is 6. Factors of 6 that sum to negative 5, so I know they have to both be negative. Negative 1, negative 6 doesn't work. Negative 2 and negative 3, that's the one that works. So the 5's still on the front, but now I'm going to replace the middle term here with a negative 2x and a negative 3x. And then factor by grouping. Make sure that that negative 6 with the 3. So the 5's still on the front. From this first parentheses, I can take out a 2x, and I get x minus 1. Second set of parentheses, I need to change these signs, so I'm going to take out a negative 3, x minus 1. The x minus 1 is repeated, so the 5's still on the front. Then comes the x minus 1, and then I group together what's left, which is 2x minus 3. All right, number 9. Look to see if you can factor something out. You cannot. There's a term on the front. So first times last. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Factors of negative 30 that sum to positive 13. So I need one to be positive, one to be negative, bigger one to be positive. So I can do 1, negative 1, and 30. Doesn't work. Negative 2, positive 15. And that's the one that works. Replace your middle term with those two. And then we group. From the first set of parentheses, we can take out an x, 5x minus 2. Second set of parentheses, we want to keep the sign, so we're going to take out a positive, and we want to take out the 3. Then the 5x minus 2 repeats, and x plus 3 gets grouped together. 10, again, you can't take anything out of it. I'm going to multiply first times last, 3 times 11, and I get 33. Factors of positive 33 that sum to positive 34, so they're both positive, 1 and 33. Replace your middle term and group. First set of parentheses, I can take out an x. Second set of parentheses, I can take out a take out an 11. And then the 3x plus 1 is the same. And the x plus 11 gets grouped together. Last set of examples here. Number 11, I can take out a 2 this time. This is a perfect square, so I'm going to test for the perfect square trinomial. Square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So I know it's a perfect square. I'm going to square root the first term, square root the last term, take the sign from the middle, put it in parentheses, and square it. If you didn't catch it, you would have factored it, x minus 5 and x minus 5, which is the same thing. All right, for number 12, there's a negative on the front, but I'm going to do my first times last anyway, so I'm not worried about it. If the negative is there and you're not multiplying first and last, then the first thing you can always do is just factor out a negative. Just make sure you change all the signs of what follows. So I'm going to leave it because we're going to do first times last, but we could have also done that. So negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. Positive 30 that sums to negative 31 means they're both negative. Negative 1 and negative 30. Replace your middle term with those two. And factor by grouping. From the first set of parentheses, I can take out an x or a negative x, which would have given me the negative either way. I get negative 5x minus 1. Second set of parentheses, I want to keep the signs, but I want to take out that 6. So I'm going to take out a positive 6. Negative 5x minus 1. Group together the negative 5x minus 1 and the x plus 6. So had we taken the negative out on the beginning, we would have had a negative 5x plus 1 times x plus 6, and these are equivalent. So both are okay. Okay, I hope that helps with your review of factoring.